gonna kick out at 1.
Kicked out at 1.
Welcome
everybody to the Kick Out at 1 show. Yes, like and subscribe. That's the actual intro. Hello, everyone.
Oh gosh.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kick Out at 1 podcast. My name is Vivian, Jade, the trained unprofessional, joined once again, finally, by the recovering and returning, the triumphant, the conquering of the sickness, Mikey Wild. I'm glad to have you back. How you feeling?
I'm sorry.
I managed to ask. I've never been a waitress before, but I have the timing for it perfectly.
I'm doing well. Feeling a lot better. The third time I got COVID. So,
oh man,
yeah,
going for a streak here
with vaccinations and boosts. So it mitigated, the damage done, but.
That's why you got recovered so fast. But you are in an environment for it. You work in a school, so you're basically working in a petri dish.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But
well, how are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm excited that you recovered so fast because advertising the plug of your show, you were wrestling, and I'm hoping to get this show out before the show happens. You work and wrestle on Saturday, on October 8th at the show They're Here for SNS Super Show alongside AEW Tag Champ Max Caster and fucking Tugboat, for God's sake. Tugboat.
The Shockmaster will be there, baby.
The Shockmaster has the pleasure of working alongside Mikey Wild. I don't want to get you heat.
the homie Sky Blue will be there also from AEW.
Yeah,
Chicago girl.
Absolutely. And oh man, I'm just so excited. I'm going to be there as well in the role of viewer. Audience member.
with pre-sales, is projected we'll probably have north of 550 at the moment.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so it should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited.
Links for tickets are in the description down below if you want to be there at the Brat Shop with us all to enjoy one hell of a good show. Make sure you get your tickets now.
And for those who maybe are wanting, because I just keep hearing like, oh, last match, it will be a 6-person elimination match. And it'll be Adam Grace, TW3, who are actually two guys I've known for quite some time in wrestling. Me and Grace were at AEW together in Minnesota. Just awesome guys. I love those dudes. But this is the first time I'm even going to share a ring with them. And likely the last. And then Trip Jordy, who I'm not terribly familiar with, but a graduate of Black and Brave from Rollins School. So he's been getting a lot of steam under him. He's been getting a lot of bookings, and he's been showing out. So I'm really excited. Dr. X, who I can't say much about, very old school guy, but he's not one to take to social media much. So not much footage. Can't find much there. Mason Conrad, who I've known for quite some time, but never been in the ring with either. I've known of him for quite some time. I should be clear. I've not really conversed with him much, but I am quite familiar with his work. So all guys that I'm happy to be sharing a ring with, and anybody who knows me, as you and I discussed prior to getting on here, how poor my back is right now. With the 3 herniated discs and my tailbone being shattered, essentially. Like having to have surgery, but like I don't have the time or cash to just do surgery. So I'm going to put off that as long as I can. So I'm going to put off wrestling as long as I can, which means I have, a couple more bumps left in me. And anybody who is seeing my Instagram or Facebook or Twitter in the last week has seen my head full of thumbtacks, me full of barbed wire, me powerbombed onto Legos from the top rope. I've seen an assortment of things, so I can assure you I have nothing planned for the match or the show, but I could imagine, just based on the things I come up with on the spot, I'm going to be limping, if not, wheelchaired out of the match. So,
yeah.
So I hope anybody's there able to watch and support. Do know that yes, I will be in pain the entire time, but mentally I'm having fun. So I hope you do as well for that sake.
Oh yeah, you didn't earn the name Mikey Wild for nothing.
Yeah, it's not true. I didn't earn it all. It was given to me.
Well, so. Fucking, you kept it this long.
Hey, there was a good point where I was just going to change it to Mikey like soft jazz because that's how like boring I was.
Oh come on.
Not true.
Mikey soft jazz landing on the Legos with thumbtacks in his fucking head. Yeah, that would have made sense.
Well, that's why I had to step up my game. I was like, I can't have the name Wild and just be doing wrist locks for 4.5 minutes. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. For God's sakes. But no, when you got someone who knows they're going away and you got someone backed into a corner, you don't know what they're going to do. You know they've got to lay it all out on the field. That's when you know you're going to get one hell of a showing. You're going into it in pain. Everyone else is coming out of it with that pain in mind too. That's going to be what's happening in that field. You got a hell of a roster coming in. You know you've got competition. You know what you're going in. Those people have a lot of training and a lot of experience. So do you. They're going to feel the pain you're coming in with.
I've made my career taking bumps. And I will plug that coming soon, there will be Mikey Wild lowlights. Because I do have a highlight reel that was made in like 2014. Maybe I'll make another one. Have someone make another one someday. But I'm going to have someone just throw a compilation of my bumps throughout the past 15 years because I'm quite well known as someone who will take the bumps that others won't. And I wish I had more of them on camera, to be honest with you. Because I mean, there's times where there's been 20 people in a gymnasium and nobody's videotaping anything. And it's like, do I really need to give you a back body drop off the apron onto the concrete? Oh, yeah, no, but I'm going to take it. Yeah. So again, knowing full well, like having Max Caster, they're like people are paying to see them, but it's like you have the mentality of like, okay, I'm glad you guys are coming to see them, but you're going to leave talking about me. And
damn straight.
I have two guys in a ring who I absolutely adore that I'm going to bump all over the place for. A brand new kid coming out who I want to make his stuff look as good as possible. Dr. S, who being around forever, like I don't know what he's going to be able to do in way of moves. And I know the guy and I know he can do his stuff, but I also know I can make a neck breaker look like, oh my God. Oh, but just basic neck breaker. So I'm excited because he works that old school style and I can still add my flair to that. And then Mason Conrad comes with some pretty stiff stuff that I love taking. So again, it's not like I'm interested in like, hey, I want to give all my stuff to all different people. I want to get my shit in, which is funny because Ryan Cross, the promoter, specifically said to everybody in the match, like, hey, you guys are going to be setting the tone for the show. Get your shit in. Like it's 6 people. It's an elimination. There's not going to be tons of psychology, I imagine. But I mean, with me, and especially with X, and that, like, we're going to force it. But you know, you're going to see the stuff. And I have zero interest in making sure I get my stuff in there for the sake of getting my stuff in there. It's going to make sense in the course of the match for the story I'm telling. But I'm interested in taking everything and anything so people can, not for me, but so that people can take those and put them on their highlights in the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I've spent my whole career doing. And that's what I want to go out doing.
Exactly. Because as much as this is a very significant match in the history of your career, as it has been throughout your career, you are as selfless as ever. In as much as this match will mean for the rest of your career, potentially forever, as whatever it will be, you have given as much as you have taken and more. And that to me is as much of a mark of a professional as anything could be. And that will never be thanked enough for the amount of people that you have shined and given. The recognition will never be properly appreciated. And
I greatly appreciate that.
Absolutely. There was one person in particular that gave you the recognition for how you properly, acted in a match that only a few, I think, will properly remember, in on your dark match, AEW dark match. And that was the person you shared the ring with. They knew what you did. They knew how you helped them in very specific moments, turning for the camera, making sure they look good. Right. That they won't forget that. They haven't, and look where they are now. That played a very pivotal role for them, and they won't forget you. All the people you've helped, they won't either. And your fans, me included, won't either. So however the match goes, all the people you're going to get to continue to help, thank you, Mikey.
I greatly appreciate that. And please sound off in the comments. Let me know if you guys would be interested in doing some retrospective stuff where we have like other wrestlers on here and maybe we do a watch along. Maybe we can even talk about some feuds or stuff, but we'll do a watch along. Like Viv, I'd even considered if this holds any interest to you. When I was going through looking at different stuff, I had found my second match ever.
Ooh.
My second match ever. At first I thought it was my first match ever because it was all the same people. And then I realized like, ooh, it couldn't be because I'm wearing wrestling boots. My very first match, my wrestling boots didn't come in time. So I'm wearing Chuck Taylors. So it's the second match of all time. If you would all be interested in doing a watch along and kind of talking how that got started and all that fun stuff.
Definitely. That would be really fun.
Yeah, but people let me know if anyone would be interested in the street fights, the stories leading up to matches, how we dissect a match, put together matches, and just doing career stuff that anybody would be interested in. Because, I mean, so much of my stuff was not on YouTube and it's put on there late, or I just was never... I mean, I started in 2007, so there wasn't a huge YouTube contingent. It was just like the company will put it on their website and stuff like that. So it wasn't until later when things start to go up. So I'm not sure how many people are really even familiar with my body of work outside of bumps or certain things like that. There's a lot of people who even just know me as like a deathmatch wrestler. And I'm like, really? Because I've done one deathmatch in my life. I've done 3 or 4 street fights. And it's like the reason you think of me as that is because when I do them, again, I don't care who you bought the ticket for, but I'm going to make sure you leave talking about what I did. And so that leads to you setting yourself on fire, taking power bombs through Legos and shattering your collarbones on dives and things like that.
Oh, God.
You're a big deathmatch guy. Yeah. You're a big deathmatch guy. Like, you mean that one I did in Milwaukee? Yeah, big deathmatch guy. Which, by the way, Viv, I don't think you've actually seen, have you?
I don't know.
The deathmatch in Milwaukee. Casanova has it up on his channel.
I'll need to watch that then because I haven't seen Casanova's channel.
I would love to watch that with you, as a matter of fact.
Absolutely.
Maybe even that would be one like watch along with Casanova Valentine.
Definitely.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, we were wanted to get Casanova on here for sure.
We had meant to, and then stuff kind of got sidetracked. He's actually going out to LA right now, and then going out to Australia.
Oh,
so
that's a hell of a flight.
Yeah, he's wrestling all over the place right now. But when he gets back, we'll definitely make sure we get him on.
Fantastic. No,
we'll roll into what we're rolling into because I could just keep jabbering on for hours about.
But yes, get your tickets for here. Make sure you watch it because it's gonna be a banger at the Brat Shop. Banger at the Brat Shop. Did I say Brat Shop? Sorry, I apologize. I was more. We don't
want to lose the building.
Sorry.
Could you imagine that was like one of the most successful wrestling podcasts in all of middle area to northern Illinois? Couldn't even get our names right.
I was just more focused on making the banger and brat.
Touche.
Also happening on Saturday is another show by some middling company, WWE, something like that. There's something like that. You did a cameo for them a while ago. They didn't. You helped them out. They didn't give you the recognition that no, WWE is doing Extreme Rules, aka every match has to have a stipulation, whether it makes sense or not. And we're recording this before SmackDown, so of course, card subject to change. They could add 17 matches, but hopefully they won't.
I don't think they will.
Right now, it's at 6 matches, so this should be shorter than our all-out predictions video.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. That and there's only 2 of us, so this should be a little shorter. And I haven't even picked mine yet, so we'll actually have a actual discussion on this one. Yay.
Yeah, same. I've not picked either.
And we both have our fridges in the background, so it's even more even.
Ooh.
Yeah, Kitchenomania is running wild. Oh, we got a special guest?
Oh, is Obi going to come up, buddy?
Oh, yay, puppy!
Oh. This is Obi.
Obi!
He can get pain in my butt sometimes.
Oh, so cute.
There's certain things I can say and it gets him really excited. Like, I'll say, right, Obi. Oh, Obi, are you ready? Let's go. So now he's gonna go run. He's gonna go run to my bedroom real quick now.
So
have him
cute.
Trained. That's the only way I have him trained. Otherwise, he's a maniac. A maniac.
I feel you. If Spoof wasn't in his room right now, he would be all over me. So these are just in the order of the Wikipedia page. It'll probably not. They never happen in order of the Wikipedia page. It's never happened. I don't know why the fuck. The first match, according to the Wikipedia page, is for the SmackDown Women's Championship. It is Liv Morgan, the champion, versus the challenger, Ronda Rousey. Let's start with you, Mikey. Who do you have and why?
Let's go Liv. I'm not terribly interested in anything happening here. I think Liv's run's been, kind of a flop here. I think people are actually starting to cheer for Ronda, which is a stark contrast to the boos. She was getting boos when she's supposed to be the babyface, and now she's getting cheers when she's supposed to be the heel.
Yeah.
But it's just the way she's been presented. What's nice about having the Extreme Rules stipulations like throughout the card is there can be an out where someone should be like, dude, they can't lose this match. Like, okay, yeah, but there's an out. For instance, there is zero reason if this was a wrestling match again, pure wrestling match, that Ronda would lose to Liv again at all. There's no reason. But I actually think there's going to be something here. My hope is that we may have a double turn on our hands and we may get Shayna Baszler on the side of Liv, who helps her beat Ronda, and we can move Ronda away from the title because we know Ronda can destroy Liv, so that's not really a program anymore. And they go off and start to build into something. That may not happen. That's what I would like to happen, but I do think Liv comes out of this either way. Because the Extreme Rule stipulation is advantageous for her and it doesn't hurt Ronda.
Nice. I hadn't thought about it that deeply because I also don't really care about this. I had noticed like everyone was really, really behind Liv Morgan until she got the title. And then all of a sudden they were like, eh. And then it doesn't help that they're kind of pulling like the Bliss and Bayley thing where they're like, oh, Liv can't get extreme. And then she's kind of, but she's not. At least they didn't go as bad as Bayley literally being scared of a kendo stick. Do you remember that? That was fucking bull honky. Yeah. But they did kind of a, oh, will she, won't she, with a fucking kendo stick again. Or was it a chair? I don't fucking remember. But in an Extreme Rules match setting, I think what you said makes a lot of sense. And they did tease a connection between Ronda and Shayna. If they teamed up, Ronda would definitely win. But the swerve of Shayna teaming up in favor of Liv, I think would make more sense. So I think that's what it's going to be. The only difference is I think it's going to be a team up with Liv. And so it's going to lead to some like multiple group thing because and somehow Ronda's going to stay in the title picture because they just can't seem to not let Ronda be around the title, even though I don't know. They can't they can't let a big name just not be involved with the title, even though.
Again, it's important to denote they haven't been able to keep Ronda away from the title picture. And by they haven't, I'm talking about the regime prior to Hunter.
Yeah.
Because you have to keep in mind that Triple H's NXT did things very differently.
True.
Triple H is likely going to do things very differently.
Yeah, does make things harder to predict.
one of the people he was the biggest supporter of was Shayna. So and obviously he's one of the ones who helped bring Ronda in. So he does love Ronda. And so I wouldn't doubt like getting them. Ronda and Shayna are friends. Why not? If you want to keep Ronda happy and you want to elevate your other talent, why not put them together? So I think it makes sense. Again, I know next to nothing about anything happening surrounding this match. Outside of the match happening, I'm just giving you what I would like to happen. So this is a total shot in the dark.
I think I agree that Liv is going to retain. And I think that there is going to be a Shayna and Ronda altercation. I think the only alteration is that instead of Shayna purely going after Ronda away from the title, I think they're probably going to team up Liv and Shayna, but I would be much happier if that didn't happen and Liv would have a totally separate thing with someone else for the title, and then we'd have multiple stories with different separate things with women's storylines. Like it would be with the men's division, and it would just be nice. I'd be very happy to have that be different.
Agreed. Not like far too often both AEW and WWE. It's just the build is around the titles. Like, okay, well, the women can break off. They don't have to just be chasing the title. Like, okay, we'll break the women off. And by doing that, we will add another title. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, or have them all group up in a stable with no seemingly connection to them.
Right.
Like, have we ever known why Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker are together? Have they ever explained that?
Haven't they been together since day one?
Yeah, but why?
Well, does that matter? If it's day one, I have no problem with that. But if all of a sudden it's two singles that are now in a group, I'd be like, why?
Yeah, but I don't even know if it was day one. If it was, then yeah, but even still, like
Jamie had a match, and then COVID happened. She was able to come back, and she attacked. Forgot what she attacked, but she attacked Statlander, I think, in favor of Britt, obviously. But then it was not like there wasn't a, oh my gosh, what is Jay? Well, that didn't matter much to me because no one in the US knows who Jamie Hayter is. So it's not like we needed this big backstory of Jamie and why she was making the decisions she made. It was just Britt is putting her badasses around her. That makes sense.
Yeah, I guess.
Now,
I just like it when characters have motivations.
Sure. Yeah. But motivations and backstories are two different things. The Michael Myers. Do we need to know his motivations? Do we need to know his backstory? Depends.
Okay. Jamie Hayter didn't have either. She didn't have either. Like, she showed up, did something. We don't know who she was or why. Like, and we still really don't have either. She just has been doing it.
How that they... Sorry to derail the Extreme Rules. Kind of like going with Saraya and Britt. Like, I'm so happy to see Ray back in like being physical.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't care what the plans are. You have to pull Jamie Hayter. Like, Jamie's obnoxiously over.
Yeah.
Like, to the point like the Acclaimed were, and look how the Acclaimed have worked out. And it's Jamie, and it needs to be Jamie and Britt. that way she can break off and then Jamie can do her own thing. But like, oh, she's just going to toil away being with Britt and Rebel, and I hope that's not the case. But yeah. Sorry, we spent so long on this throwaway SmackDown women's match that nobody cares about. Any of us? Sorry, we went off on this could be longer than I'll allow. God damn.
Hey man, it's all right. It's a conversational thing. For the record, I would love to see Jamie Hayter get the spotlight. And if do you say Soraya or Saraya? Because there was
Saraya. Her name's Saraya.
Saraya. Because there was a kerfluffle, and I saw there was a clarifying tweet, but then I forgot what the clarification was in favor of.
Yep, and you can know it because since I've known her, I've always called her Rhea or Ray.
Oh, well, so, that's a way easier way to remember. Ray. I gotcha.
Yeah.
So Rhea showing up and immediately going after Jamie, going after Britt Baker. I was like, well, we were so ready for Jamie Hayter to have that spot. Do we know why Saraya is going after Britt Baker, other than the fact that they just don't seem to get along? That's what I mean.
There's nothing there.
We all know Saraya when she was Paige, but that isn't part of the canon. But that doesn't really matter in wrestling because that's part of the medium. Like right. if that was considered, then the whole Scott Hall, Kevin Nash moving to WCW thing then it'd be like, oh, that doesn't matter because no, we you know who I am and you know why I'm here. Yeah, right. We do. So
the only problem is we don't know why you're here.
No, we don't know why you're why do you have the power to call out the whole roster out here to do a lumberjack match? Why the fuck?
Yeah, we'll save all of that discussion.
Yeah, maybe in a couple of weeks it'll all get ironed out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
The next match, what will probably be the main event, I imagine. But then again, it's not for a title. Then again, the U.S. title isn't on this either, or
no. There's only 2 title matches, and it's the women's matches.
And the tag titles aren't on here.
Nope. Only 2 title matches. It's the women's. That's it.
What the hell?
Which I actually love because I think all the matchups are very interesting and their stipulations make sense and they're fun. And it's awesome because you don't have to put throwaway title matches. Like I don't need to see Sheamus versus, as much as I would love to. I mean, Sheamus versus Gunther is awesome in general. But how often have we gotten Sheamus versus Cesaro? Like, why? Yeah. Oh, because they're facing for the belt. Why?
We literally had a storyline about how many times they fought each other.
Right.
And the storyline was, we're going to make them fight each other a lot more. Thank you, Mick Foley.
Yeah. And I know at the top, you did mention like, it's a time of the year, Extreme Rules, where every match has to have a stipulation for some fucking reason. Like, I would like to say it is refreshing for this year's every match has a different stipulation. Last year, one match was an Extreme Rules match or 2, and the year prior to that, it was 2 matches. So
yeah,
I like the idea of which I've always disliked the idea of pay-per-views being named after a gimmick because you're just shoehorning it in.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think
the worst victim of that is Hell in a Cell.
No question.
Mm-hmm.
No question. But I do like that if they're going to do an Extreme Rules pay-per-view, that they started booking up to it in a way that their stipulations made sense rather than, well, the only way to settle this is a cage. It's like, why? Nobody's been interfering in matches.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
So I do like now. I'm sorry. Well, we weren't even talking about a match yet. That's my bad.
I was about to, but yeah.
I do like that they are intriguing and interesting, so they don't necessarily need the title. You have interesting matchups, I think, in personalities and people who are capable of delivering. And that's what I like, too, about having 6, 7 matches instead of 15, Tony Khan, is you get time for the matches to matter. And you can invest your time and your energy in them, opposed to, oh, good, and we got QT Marshall versus Paul White. That's something.
Hook versus Angle Perkins.
This I've kind of noticed. This almost sounds like we're trying to shit on AEW, which obviously isn't the case.
No, we're not.
Some of my closest friends were for AEW,
and you definitely want to work there again.
15 matches is too long, and
if any company put on a 15 match card, that would be a problem. It's not AEW specific.
Funny enough, I really took notice of this at Clash at the Castle. Me and Serena were in the hotel room watching Clash at the Castle because it was on like midday, like noon on that Saturday. And like we were just so like, oh god, well, look how much time they're getting. Like, thank goodness. Like, let this breathe. This is nice. Because it is hard to get across stuff when you're doing 4-minute matches.
Yeah.
Because you have to get people on the show. So it's nice that Triple H has taken that step back and like given this room to breathe. So what other matches do we have that will hopefully fill their role?
This one that we're leading up to that I said might be the main event is one with a celebrity appearance. We have Matt Riddle, or just Riddle. I hope he gets his Matt back.
He does. It's Matt Riddle.
Oh yeah, it said Matt Riddle on the.
That's one of the first things they did with when Triple H got there was
they brought Matt back.
Yeah.
Good. Because I've seen some people just keep saying Riddle, so I wasn't sure. So it's Matt Riddle, the former Riddle now, and former Matt Riddle now. That's criminally. The Riddle is what the fuck is his name? Versus Rollins, now Seth Rollins. Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins in a fight pit match. Special guest referee, Daniel Cormier.
What do you know about this?
I know that Daniel Cormier is a fightman. He's a fightyman.
From UFC, correct?
He's an UFK. He's an UFK fightman.
Do we know the fight pit match from NXT? Do you know anything about that?
I didn't even know there was a fight pit in NXT.
Yeah, I forgot who it was against, but it was a rather enjoyable match. I liked it quite a bit. I'm curious to see if this fight pit match is going to have the ring surrounded the way they had it in NXT, which is, their main ring, or they're going to do what WWF did when they did the Lion's Den match.
Oh, with Ken Shamrock.
And they put it off to the side rather than front and center around the ring. So I'm curious what the plan is there. I think there's these two guys. I don't know if you watched Clash at the Castle, but these guys work so well together, which is so funny because I think just either whether it be last year or a couple of years ago, like Rollins did not want to work with Riddle at all. So the story goes. Yeah. And I'm glad they have because they've been great and it's been really enjoyable. And it's not just silly Matt Riddle being silly.
Silly Seth Rollins.
Yeah, it's not Rollins being over the top with his awful laughing. Yeah. But they both played their role very well. It's the fight pit is a unique setup from what I recall. It's almost like having a platform on top with the cage surrounding, no ropes. I actually don't know the stipulations as to if it's just knockout and tap out or what the situation. I'm almost positive there is no pinning. But I think with the added interest of Daniel Cormier for others, not me, I have no interest.
He's a fightyman.
My interest comes from him being such a huge wrestling fan. And it wasn't like higher ups or anything that reached out to him to do this. It was Rollins because he's friends with Rollins and asked him, like, really? Hey, we might have a spot to do. Like, do you think you'd work really well here? And I know Cormier threw the call into Dana. And Dana White's thing was like, dude, I know how big of a fan you are of wrestling. Go.
Nice.
So that's my added interest is not necessarily seeing how this guy does, is I'm excited for him to do it because it's like, ooh, somebody who's a lifelong fan of wrestling being able to be on wrestling. But when it comes to the match itself, it doesn't hold much like added interest to me. But I am really excited about this match because I love watching Riddle and Rollins work together regardless. As far as a winner, it has to be Matt Riddle. Losing a Clash at the Castle and then having the fight pit match. I mean, it has to be Matt Riddle.
I agree. I think Riddle has to win this one. I wanted to point out something that irked me is there was a promo picture that was leading up to like their final moment before the fight pit, and it was like they're building up this like brutality and they're the fact that they're bringing in UFC legend Daniel Cormier, this brutal fisticuffs motherfucker, like he's a knockout specialist and or I don't know if he's a knockout specialist. I don't know. I don't know a fucking thing about him. Did he tap people out? Did he punch? I don't know. Kick a guy.
Did he kick a guy?
Did he kick a guy? I hope to God the UFC people didn't, like UFC fans don't watch this. I'm going to be crucified.
It's funny because I know Daniel Cormier. I've watched him fight. I've seen his stuff. I certainly know of him.
Does he choke people out or does he?
I don't remember. I'm almost positive he's a knockout guy,
okay.
But I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you at all. I have a finite amount of brain space, and unfortunately, whether I want to or not, majority of that goes to wrestling, facts about The Office, and the movie Halloween. And that's pretty much where I'm at. Everything else is like, I don't know, maybe somebody knows.
Someone knows, and they will probably tell me.
Sound off.
Nicely, please. But the point is that they were building up this thing where it's like, it's the fight pit, it's brutality, no sympathy in the fight pit with fighting legend Daniel Cormier officiating, these two brutal monsters with the viciousness of the feud, all mercy left behind. And then you get these pictures of these two guys. You get fucking Riddle cheesing it up, and Seth Rollins is pure fucking clown. And I'm like, can we get seriousness? For one picture, like for fuck's sake, these two clowns. Just, I get that the gimmick is one guy's a stoner and the other guy is a psycho, but can we get like one picture? Like we had a good promo. We had a good promo where both guys got serious after they were supposed to cut away. But like, can we get like one picture, one professional shot? We're like, all right, do a mean face. Okay, good. Right. Click. Like, for fucking Christ.
So just by looking at it, like, oh, this match is going to be a fight.
Can you sell brutality?
This should be silly.
Yeah. Like, and when Matt Riddle gets a serious look on his face, he kind of looks like a teenage girl being told that they can't get a piercing until they're legally a preteen. But or a preteen getting told that they can't do it until they're a teenage girl. And then when Seth Rollins gets a serious face, he looks like his neck is already broken. Like, you know how he has it like neck and then neck? He has weird angled neck. He looks like he has like a giraffe neck. I've never
noticed this.
It's fucking weird. Go back to that serious promo. He has his hair pulled back and he's like telling Riddle about how his family hates him or whatever. Look at his neck. It fucking angles in the middle. It's fucking weird, bro.
I'll check it out.
And he talks like he talks like he's trying to convince you that he is serious, but he is not actually serious. It's the weirdest shit. But this picture just pissed me off because I was like, oh yeah, real serious fight pit. But anyway, point is, yes, Riddle has to win the Riddle match. He's the fight guy. He is Punchy Stoner Man. Anyway.
I do think we get something like a Tyson Michaels moment with Seth and Cormier.
Seth will push him. Cormier will kick him. You kick a man.
He'll kick a guy again.
Yeah. Maybe Seth will try to set him up with the pedigree, and then Cormier will bite him. I don't know. But yeah, that'll be. I anticipate it'll be good. It'll be good.
Very much so.
What? Oh, I get a message on Discord. Was I being too long again?
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. And I don't think this would be the main event. Just because the stipulation. I think without it being a wrestling match, like just having a fight pit, guys rolling around and kicking, I don't think it's going to be.
Well, the reason I thought it would be the main event is, one, if it is in the middle, you have to have a fucking apparatus set up, and you wouldn't want to have to put it down and then put it back up, because this isn't Hell in a Cell. You can't just.
Yes, you can. That's what they did with the fight pit last time.
Fair enough. And the other reason that I thought was big celebrity moment. You want to build up to that, and these are your two biggest
celebrity
names.
Moment that we know really well.
Well, we know we're not cultured civilians.
I'll tell you the main event, because there's two bigger celebrities.
Oh,
and that is Bayley and Bianca Belair.
Oh yeah,
in a ladder match for the women's championship.
Oh, that's true.
That's
the Raw
probably
Women's
the main event.
Yeah, that is true. And Bianca,
it better be. There's no match that supersedes it.
Yeah, and it does have the title, the biggest title on it for sure. Of course, if Triple H still sees Ronda Rousey as the biggest name they have, then that might be on the end. But nah,
I was gonna say he's a bigger supporter of Bayley and Bianca than he is of Ronda.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I know that internally. So,
oh damn.
Yeah,
you know that with your internals. But no. So you brought it up. Bianca Belair versus Bayley. That's Bianca Belair accompanied by friends, as they've been referred to. Asuka and Alexa Bliss have been dumbed down to and friends. That's what they've been called. And friends. We've been getting this cool thing where like Asuka's been like holding the doll and getting this like that's been like, really cool. Like this stoic like kabuki like fucking like possessed thing, like that's been really cool. But they just called Bianca accompanied by her friends. Whoa.
I want to touch on that actually, because I'm not terribly certain do we know why the doll came back?
I just imagine it's because Bray's coming back. That's another thing. Do we want to have a point for whether or not Bray's coming back with these QR codes and the White Rabbit? Do you think it's Bray?
We would have gotten there.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what the significance was, like how they brought in kayfabe. All the questions I'm going to ask and talk about is kayfabe. Why did they bring the doll back?
Yeah, because it got shredded up by Charlotte.
Yeah. And then my next question being because I saw Kana doing holding on to it. And she was even took a bump into the stairs, and she's she would have rather eaten the stairs than let go of I don't remember what the doll's name is again. Lily? Is that
Lily?
Lily?
Lily the doll. The Lily doll.
Why is Asuka super protective of Lily? Now, I have reasons of what it could develop into. But there's been no kayfabe reason for the doll to be brought back, as far as I know. And outside of Asuka being just incredible with a storyteller with just her body, her facials and stuff like that, we don't necessarily need a promo. But I've not seen the back and forth between Alexa. So is there anything to lead on there, or is it just all right, well, they're friends? Again.
Yeah, they teamed up in order to ward off fucking control, fucking damage control. And
is that the Bailey's group?
Yeah, that's Bailey's
damage control.
Damage control. That's their name.
That's not good.
No, it's about as bad as Death Triangle.
Real
No,
good
but we
stuff
love
there.
AEW. But no, yeah, they just sort of came back to back up Bianca Belair, and that's why they've been referred to as Bianca's friends, because there's no storyline reason why they were there. But
Right.
now there's been this slow background build for this like slow corruption through osmosis, apparently, of Asuka. And they recently hired some like this really I don't know his name, but this like really
Let's get there with the Bray Wyatt stuff.
Okay.
Let's stay on topic of the match, because I think like after we hit all the matches, let's talk about what we think about with Bray Wyatt.
I'll add that as a category at the end.
Yeah, because I don't want to put focus on that while we're doing all the other matches,
all right,
and then we can also clip if we need to.
Cool.
But I will bring him up. I will bring up what I think he could, all that fun stuff. It's just right now, and I just don't know what the Asuka, Lily, Alexa connection is.
We've discussed all of what there is to discuss. There has been nothing else.
I thought it was very possible I've missed plenty.
You ain't missed a damn thing. We have talked about everything that's happened.
Yeah.
So we've got Bianca and her little friends, and Bayley with Damage Control in a ladder match for the Raw Women's Championship in what will likely be the main event. Now that it is for the highest title on the fucking show. And since you've gone first the last 2 times, I will go first on this one, so it doesn't seem like I'm constantly piggybacking off of you. Bayley has to win this one. She has to win this, because they fucked up not giving Damage Control the women's tag titles the last time. They can't make that same mistake again by not giving Bayley the title on her first fucking title contention when she comes back. Bianca's had the title long enough since she's had the title thing, not because she doesn't deserve to have the title for a long reign, but because she's had it long enough to have the title loss hurt when she loses it. And when she tries to contend for it again, she can have it while this storyline with Bliss and Asuka go off into their own thing, while she tries to fight Damage Control and their own and their stuff on her own. And it just makes sense to give Damage Control all the gold. I'm saying Bayley wins it.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. I think this is what at the top when I talked about stipulations that serve to let someone lose without taking an actual loss pin type of thing. This is what I meant. Is Bianca doesn't have to get pinned. Shenanigans can happen to where she does lose and Bayley gets the belt. It just makes sense that they all have that. And to touch on the Bianca deserving the reign, like how her reign's been, stuff like that. She can take the loss and lose the belt, because I'm going to ask you this and you let me know as quick as you can. What is your favorite Stone Cold Steve Austin babyface title run?
Oh,
yep, exactly. but you remember the chase to that belt, don't you?
Yeah,
absolutely. The money for a babyface is always going to be in the chase. It's the same thing with Hangman Page. Getting there was exciting. In his he had the belt, but he had some good matches. But cool, it's not a matter of being poorly booked or anything like that. It's just inherently, as humans, we want to see that bad person get toppled so much more than we want to see the good people stay on top, and that's why the NWA always had people chasing Flair, or Flair as a babyface chasing. And that's why people got so ungodly bored of Hulk Hogan, line him up, knock him down kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Triple H is an NWA guy as much as he wants to pretend. He prefers the NWA style of booking. And I do as well. I prefer that Bayley be that big leader. The other girls with them having all the gold. And like I said, his support of Pam is it's strap a rocket to kind of stuff. And as well as she should. She's awesome. She's incredible. but I think he may see a very female four horsemen in them kind of thing.
Cool.
So it just makes sense, like you said, for them to have damage control, alt delete, to have all the belts, and make their presence known other than just being pests. They're pests. That's not a thing. Pests. They're now running roughshod over the women's division with all the titles, and there's where your storylines come from.
Yeah, I likes it. I likes it a lot. Next up, we have another person that was rumored to be the White Rabbit, as he was known in Lucha Underground. We have Karrion Kross versus Drew McIntyre in a strap-on match. Strap match. Sorry.
Damn, I almost set my DVR for this
one. Scarlett's also involved. That's yeah. So it's Drew and Karrion in a strap match. Who do you have and why?
I'm going to be completely honest with you here. I have not paid any attention to this outside of, I think, seeing a gimmicked umbrella spot go awry with a fireball.
With the fireball, yeah, that didn't work. I don't know.
Outside, like, I knew Karrion attacking Drew, and I have no interest in this whatsoever. So I suppose I haven't really sought out to care.
Mm-hmm.
I like what they've been doing with Karrion. I like Drew McIntyre. But for whatever reason, them together just I suppose also, to be fair, like, Karrion doesn't do a lot for me in ring. The presentation, I think, is much better than it was. But again, I don't think his presentation is very cool. I think it was the same way in NXT, to be honest with you. He was better. He was presented much better there than he was in WWE, like Raw. But there's just nothing there for me. I like Scarlett. She's a huge addition to the package and adds so much. As long as I never have to watch her wrestle. But I'll just say, because, like, I don't know who you put over, to be honest with you, because you just have Drew coming off the big loss to Roman. But the first match of Karrion Kross coming back, do we really want him going under? The dichotomy there, I'll say, is there's been enough weeks and enough build that Kross has gotten the one up on Drew. It's not like Drew just came back 3 weeks ago and he has to win this match, because then what the hell? Like, he's been getting over on Drew, so it just seems, I think this could go either way, but I'm going to say you put Drew over here.
Fair enough. I'm going to go with Karrion Kross on this one. Reason being, like you said, it is his first match back after coming back. Not that it gives me any pleasure to say that, because I agree with you. Karrion Kross does nothing for me. This might be very judgmental to say, but when he went to Control Your Narrative, I was just like, oh.
Right. Like, anybody who's touching Control Your Narrative is just like,
well, man. Like,
unless it's guys trying to get a break, which I understand. Like,
young up-and-comers, I'm just like, okay, you got to take every show you can get. I get that.
And by the way, I say that with the knowledge that Jordan Cross is Control Your Narrative. So that was strategically placed commentary there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, young up-and-coming wrestlers have to take whatever spot they can get to try to get the name out there. I understand that. But, like, older people or people who have had their name choosing to go there, You like, I was a big fan of like Sarah Logan, but then like she went there and I was like, oh
Yeah.
like that to me kind of was just like, oh, you're a nut, aren't you? Like that, I was like when Braun went on his big like, oh, independent wrestlers are lazy, and then he fucking made Control Your Narrative. I was like, oh, so you literally just made your own space to shit on everyone else. Yeah. So no, I'm not excited about Karrion Kross or Braun Strowman being back. And I wasn't really a big fan of them beforehand anyway, so it's not like
here's the
really
thing.
changed.
Braun Strowman, like the person Adam, I actually love him. He's a sweetheart. He's wonderful. I've never enjoyed maybe more than 2 matches he's ever been in, and probably both of them consisted of Sami Zayn on the other side.
Yeah,
he's a guy that doesn't do anything for me at all.
Yeah, and a person isn't their ideology 100% unless they make it so. Yeah. You only made a whole company to make it so. But anyway, we need to get off this fucking topic. It'll be a downer. Point is, I just believe Drew McIntyre has enough holding power to be able to take a loss. He already did take a loss. And I think losing to a person who's coming back and has a lot of momentum after a big debut, I don't think it's going to hurt Drew. And Karrion Kross can come in and take the win. And he needs more of a win than Drew does. Drew won't go down in quality at all. I mean, hell, Drew took a lot of losses a while ago, and then he came back up and was a contender for the Universal title.
What is the stipulation for this match? Strap
match. I made the strap-on joke.
I forgot all about that. Do we know what type of strap match it is?
I don't know. I don't know if it's the one where you have to constantly hold it or if it's just whipping. I have no idea.
Well, there's the 2 strap matches, like stipulations, because obviously there's the strap match types to where you're not hooked together. It's just you have straps, and then there's the one where you're hooked together, and then there's the stipulations where you have to go and touch each corner,
turnbuckle one,
which I think is one of the worst stipulations in history.
Yeah, I really hope it's not that one because that would really undercut the brutality.
You're just strapped together. That's all that matters.
I really hope it's the one where they're attached because that would literally sell like the TikTok, because then he can be like, TikTok, you're pulling him like get over here kind of bullshit.
But it should just be pin, give up, and not touching turnbuckles. That's awful.
Yeah, no, I really hope it's not that one. What I really hope also wasn't happening is Edge versus Finn Balor in an I Quit match, because I'm fucking tired of this feud.
Wildly uninterested in this feud. I'm interested in things that are branching off with Judgment Day from this feud.
Yeah, Dominic and Ray and all that. I think that's interesting. Rhea being a dominatrix.
Balor and AJ Styles.
Yeah, that's also cool. I'm really interested in Rhea as a dominatrix. That's just been hitting a lot of bells for me.
Yeah,
like a lot of bells.
I think Edge is very good at what he does in ring.
Yeah.
Balor is very good at what he does in ring.
Yeah, they're really good. It's just the same shit we've seen before.
I mean, I do think Finn goes over here, and as an I Quit match, how we get there, I don't know. I can't tell you how the finish is going to play out. I feel Balor is another guy that's going to be getting a pretty big push. Coming out of this, I think. And have you seen any of the stuff with him and AJ?
I know that like Balor's been trying to recruit AJ, and then there's been matches where AJ and Ray were teaming.
Sure.
So there's been
a key beat down with Balor on AJ has Balor throwing out the words like, "I'm your only friend. I'm the only one who cares.
Ooh.
I'm your only friend."
Damn.
And it may not be well known, but I think it's in good position to know that the Good Brothers are primed to come back to WWE.
Yeah, they did leave Impact.
And so I do think that is setting the seeds of like, oh, I have friends. And so we are getting a Balor AJ Styles feud And so a Bullet Club-esque feud against Judgment Day feud. I think that's where this is going. Now, what's interesting is there's a bunch of different places you could go come November. And I think this is one of the matches. I still don't think this is the match that it's going to be. I think it's going to be Bloodline. But I think your War Games match could be a Judgment Day against whatever the hell they're going to be called. I forgot. AJ and the Good Brothers, whatever.
The Club.
The Club. That's right. That's entirely possible. I don't think it will be because you don't have the star power there with the Good Brothers. But I think that could still be a fun Survivor Series matchup with all. But just give me matches of AJ and Finn, and I'm a happy man.
Nice.
But yeah, so out of this, I think, and I've always really enjoyed Edge's stuff. I don't care about Edge right now. I don't.
No, he needs something new to do. And quite frankly, I was going to pick Finn, but you convinced me. I did not even consider the Good Brothers. And with the AJ thing going on, ooh, that was a good quiet sneeze. Thank you. She really tried to hold that one in.
Hi, Brie.
Yeah, Mikey says hi. Oh, she's coming. She's coming.
Hi, Mikey.
Hey, she says. She said hi, Mikey, but it sounded like she said a monkey.
Right.
It was
so
cute.
faint.
So, bearing in mind that could happen, this could be a way for Edge to get his win back. I don't even think he lost, but did he lose? I think he still no, but he could get a win by AJ getting a distraction, and then that would set up.
But it has to be an I quit. It's I quit. So what's the distraction?
That's true. Oh, fuck.
The only to
Finn
me,
Finn doesn't have a fucking a submission move.
Well, you don't have. It doesn't have to be submission. You can just quit by being stabbed in the head with a chair leg for 4 minutes. You know, the same way.
You just sort of passed. You just died from that.
What I think more is for me here, I think is the vulnerability. I don't know that there is a vulnerability on the side of Finn. Let's say the one person who might think that might be a vulnerability, Rhea. If someone is just as Rhea and we do the Mick Foley Ric Flair finish to where Foley gives up because Flair is threatening to beat the hell out of Melina, and so Foley's like, okay, I quit. But I don't think Rhea is vulnerable enough, one on her own or two to Finn. Whereas I think Rey Mysterio could be a vulnerability for Edge. I think Dominic could be a vulnerability for Rey Mysterio, which is a vulnerability for Edge. I think there's different ways you can manage it where someone is giving up not because they can't take any more damage. It's because their heart is showing too much sympathy for something. I think that's the way that may go, because I just don't understand how anyone would come out of this looking better unless Edge is going away. Because we know, maybe we don't know, but we're fairly certain that Finn's getting a rocket to him again.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
If everyone's coming back and Finn's getting the push, Edge has nothing going on for him. Edge did just come back, but Edge does not need the win right now. But Edge always generally does seem like someone who has the legend status, so he does.
I was going to say he's a literal Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
I don't know that he needs.
I'm gonna say, I'm going with you. I'm gonna say Finn needs the win.
Yeah, I'm going Finn.
Yep. Fair enough.
Have we disagreed once yet?
What?
Have we disagreed once yet?
Yes, we have literally disagreed once. Drew and Carrion. And we only have one match left.
Oh shit, okay.
So we have one possibility left to we have two because we're also going to discuss Bray, but here we go. The 6-man tag. Only one of them on this card.
Hey, that's nice to see.
But we love AEW. We actually do. I don't want this to be.
That's the funny part. Like, it's becoming a shtick at this point, which I love. Like, but we love AEW. But we actually do. So it's like it's becoming so meta.
The Brawling Brutes. Sheamus.
Can we save this one for the last?
Yeah. The definitely not main event of Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch versus Imperium, Gunther, Ludwig Kaiser, and Giovanni Vinci. In a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match.
Yeah, the good old-fashioned one.
The good old-fashioned whatever the hell match. Sorry. Why? I mean, why do you, Mikey?
So far, what's been your favorite good old-fashioned Donnybrook match?
Well, out of the one, my favorite has been none of them.
I actually love that match. That's a great match.
Is it? Actually, I didn't watch it. I did
Drew
not.
And Sheamus, it's very hard hitting, and there is like the weapons they beat the shit out of each other, and they're used very well. It is an absolute, like, they beat the piss out of each other. It's awesome.
Wow.
So what I'm going for, like, you may be surprised here. I can't wait for this match. I'm very excited for this. One of my, like, when I looked at the card, I was like, yes, that's right. I forgot all about this. I love Pete Dunne. I fucking love Walter. I love Sheamus. Ridge Holland has gotten so much better, but I enjoy. Imperium in general, I enjoy quite a bit. Them just coming back together, the same thing we did with others. Like, well, they just came back. Well, Walter, God damn it, Gunther picked up the win at Clash Crown of the champ. What was it? Clash at the
Castle.
Clash at the Castle. Where did Crown from? I don't know.
It's
I think
different.
Butch / Pete Dunne has been used in a much better role.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for the instances when Gunther and I'm not doing it. I can't wait for the instances when Walter and Pete Dunne have time to go, because one of my favorite UK title matches is Walter and Pete Dunne. Is absolutely awesome. So I look forward to their interactions. I will always look forward to Sheamus beating up anyone and everyone and taking just as much. Walter chops. I think this is going to be all over the place. I think there's going to be bodies everywhere. I'm thrilled to see what they come up with. Because these are guys where, like, you don't think about, like, ooh, I wonder what cool spots they're going to come up with. I just know everyone's going to beat the piss out of each other, and then there's going to be cool spots involved. And I'm really excited to see what the cool spots could even be. But I do think that who's the Newsboys, the ragtag group of
the
1950s Newsboys. Brawling Brutes. I think they take it.
Okay.
Just to have a feel good, because it'll go over on, Ilya or Giovanni, whatever. That won't hurt Walter at all, and maybe everyone is hyperbolic. Some are clamoring for a big win for these guys.
Yeah,
and I don't think they have one to their name. I don't think they have one since, like, once they became a group. They're like, hey, this is a big win, definitive win. This feels like a very and I know this might be unforgivable, but hear me out. This reminds me of a Shield Wyatt family, Shield evolution kind of thing, when the Shield was doing their 6-men's for a while, they had unbelievable matches where they were just all over the place. And I think this is the exact same thing that is going to happen here. Is not selling it. These 6 guys, fine. These 6 guys are going to put on an absolute banger that I think people are going to underappreciate going in. But afterwards go, holy shit, that was incredible. So I'm looking forward to it.
Not easy to contort my face that much.
Wasn't a song.
Oh, fine. You just.
I said stay with me, and you didn't stay with me. So
I was listening the entire time, and I do actually think, I didn't think much of the fact that they were going to have a good old-fashioned match.
It's just so stupid sounding.
It's such a dumbass name.
4-peer brawl. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're going to have a good grand old fucking some big dibbly dime duck bitch. Like, fucking just, we're going to have a street fight.
Yeah.
I don't know shit. I'm the only wrestling podcaster willing to admit it. But the names in this match. What?
I do think this one is a throwaway in terms of who walks out, I think. So I'm excited just for the match itself to see what happens.
I think, unfortunately, I don't want the whole fucking the card of our betting to come down to one match, but I do think you're right that the Brutes are going to take it because Clash literally came down to, Clash went the other way. So I think they're going to give it to the Brutes. Yeah. That and Brutes have been over at most of the other shows that they've been on. But the main thing is I scoffed at the name. The names, like the people in the match are actually very enticing. Mm-hmm. And I have been kind of skipping some of the other pay-per-views, and now that we're doing this show, I'm excited to get back into watching them. Obviously, we won't be watching this live. I'll be watching you live. But on Sunday,
I forgot all about that, and I was like, "Oh, this is on Sunday." It's like, "Oh, it's on Saturday."
Yeah, they got weird about it.
It's funny because like I know I'm going to have my phone on me, and again, not necessarily to keep up with everything that's going on in all these matches, but to keep up with the developments of what could happen, which we will address after this match.
Yeah. So we'll likely be spoiled beforehand, but we're still going to watch it afterwards. Like, I mean, are you going to watch the pay-per-view on Sunday?
Well, here's the thing though. I'm wouldn't be spoiled. Like, I'm not going to hold off and wait till like, if it happens, that's the pop for me. And then I'll see how it happens. It wouldn't, for me, it's not just so you know, so-and-so comes back at Extreme Rules, go like, oh, well, this isn't going to be as impactful. No, it's going to be great for me.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I'm not a big spoiler guy. People always ask, like, can I tell you a bit? I was like, honestly, you could tell me the exact plot. Like, you could tell me what the big twist is, and I will be excited to find out how they do it, what the seeds were planted. Like, I care about storytelling. I don't necessarily care about the spoiler. That's just how I've always been.
Yeah, you like to feel it. You don't mind being told the bones of it. You like to feel the skin.
You know what's really... I guess. You know what's funny? Probably not funny, but intriguing is I was prior to 2010, I probably would have been a hey, don't tell me I want to watch, like, kind of person. Mm-hmm. But when I broke my ankle and had to have surgery on my ankle, I was laid up for a while, and I love South Korean thrillers, dramas, and foreign films in general, especially thrillers. Well, they do them so well, but some could be 2 hours and 2 minutes, and you're like, okay, this is rated 7.6, and then you're watching, you're like, I wasted 2 hours of my life. So I started reading ahead to see what the whole story was, including the twist and the spoiler, to say, this really isn't worth my time. Or is this worth my time? So I'm knowing like big reveals before they happen, and I'm excited to see how it develops and how they get there. And since then, I've been a very like, oh yeah, I don't give a shit about spoilers. My enjoyment has been in the ride, not the destination. But I it's because of my wasting 2 hours at a time on Netflix. Like, listen, I know I'm laid up and I have nothing to do, but for fuck's sake, I can't spend 18 hours a day wishing I didn't spend 18 hours a day doing this.
Nice. Well, in that vein, is Bray coming back at Extreme Rules?
So, what we have is clues about a white rabbit, right?
Yes.
And like I don't know if I can go track by track here, as I can't remember vividly everything. But it started out as just like online, more or less online stuff where the song White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane, and it's by Grace because they're doing studio acapella vocals isolated on the track, which is brilliant. Started playing at live events and during commercials. Well, interestingly enough, they started to do the light show when it hits the crescendo, and you guys may not know the song by name, but when you hear "Feed Your Head," you know the song. And they start doing red lights, which are ominous red lights, at the shows. And those they picked up traction because people thought it was really cool that this song is playing, because let me tell you, there's no reason that song, a cappella version, would be playing in a WWE arena unless it is being licensed. Because arenas could have license agreements, but now that we've seen it happen in multiple different, we knew, oh, this is clearly something for WWE. And then when WWE or somebody accidentally leaked the video of an empty arena and them doing the light show for, is like, oh, okay, well, this is clear. And then it started to gain steam online, and subtleties started to be dropped on WWF programming. One of which was someone just held up a QR code, and many may not think about it, but you see, like, okay, it's a giant QR code. Clearly, they want someone to grab it. Yeah, but they did it at a particular time, and then the QR code did, in fact, lead to a WWE thing that had a particular date for it at a particular time. And what was run was a hangman spot, I believe, which it asked who killed the world. And this little white rabbit is jumping around trying to guess. Well, the first word it spells out in its guess is demon. And what it actually does end up spelling out is you did. Like, ooh, this is fascinating. Now, the ties to this is Bray has, in fact, in NXT, NFCW, has uttered the words, "They didn't kill the world, you did," in promos. The lettering used for the promo is, it is exactly the font used on Bray Wyatt's previous shirts. And you may say, like, okay, well, what else is that tied to, though? Because that's a scary, scratchy font. Nothing. That font was developed specifically for Bray Wyatt's shirt. So it was used here. Now, there have been a lot of other things used. Like, I wish I should have collected everything and gone through how many different things have a Bray Wyatt tie. that you may not even think like, oh, and they mentioned something about like Devil's Hole, Arkansas or something like that. And then you realize, oh, in July, Bray checked in or asked about, hey, what's going on in Devil's Holes, Arkansas? And this is just an example, but it's very close. And then you realize, ooh, that could have a tie. And then you see on, I forgot what forum it was, but the username White Rabbit posts something that was very ominous, and its location is Devil's Hole, Arkansas. And you're like, what? And these all started to happen around a certain time. So it's not like, oh, you're just grabbing a post from 4 years ago that you're trying to tie. So now comes the tie-in, I think, that is going to be the bigger deal that will lead us to reveal that it is Bray Wyatt. Whether or not he comes back at Extreme Rules, I still won't offer, but Rob Fee is the new, maybe only because I don't know that this thing existed prior. He is the director of long-term storytelling, of long-term creative, something along those lines. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't, by no means do I want to tell you I know Rob Fee. I've had interactions with him years and years and years ago. He is a comedy guy, and he fucking loves wrestling. He ran Mandatory, which was an awesome site that had a lot of like funniest tweets of the week, gave a lot of people publication, which that got printed up in Playboy as well. So all that cool stuff. But he went in turn, people think like, oh, he's a Marvel guy. So like he did not write any Marvel movies. He's not a Marvel movie writer. He's a Marvel comic book writer. He has also written for Disney movies. He also, Rob Fee, congratulations, just got married last month.
Nice.
Yes, just got married. And there were two wrestlers specifically at his wedding. John Morrison and Bray Wyatt.
Oh, man.
It is believed that Rob Fee is, in fact, the one behind the creative of the White Rabbit QR code online tie-in stuff with his good friend Bray. So do I think the White Rabbit is Bray Wyatt? 100%. Do I think Bray Wyatt comes back at Extreme Rules? I think there is a big reason you don't have people who could be you don't want to be overshadowed on this pay-per-view. I think there's a reason you don't have Roman. I think there's a reason you don't have Bloodline. I think there's a reason you don't have Sammy. I think there is a reason you don't have big title matches. I think there's a reason it's not stocked with title matches that could be forgotten. I think you're going to have your one big title match being Bayley and Bianca. And I think you're going to have the biggest story that is going to come out of this is Bray Wyatt will make his return. How he makes his return, I don't know. What comes out of it, I don't know. However, what I think could be, I think we may get a new iteration of the Wyatt family. Who? I don't know. How? I don't know. But I do think there is ground. There's some traction with the Alexa Bliss and Lily stuff. And to that, with Asuka. Now, Asuka could very well be doing something that I myself have been clamoring for since she joined. Even before she joined WWE, I remember this post because I made the post of like, I absolutely adore her. but she fucking terrifies me. Have you seen Kana in her makeup in Japan as an evil caricature?
I have not.
I think we're going to get this version of Asuka. And again, whether or not this is, I imagine it's going to be a heel-esque but face group. So I do believe that we could be getting something from, and this is not this makeup here is not just a one and done type of thing. She has all sorts of iteration. She has all sorts of iterations like this. Let me see if I can go to images, because she has one that's my absolute favorite. I will post this one because I love this one. Da, 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 da. But do you remember when Finn Balor started doing his demon stuff?
Yeah.
And it was because there was back in New Japan, he used, for all of his big shows, he would do body paint. And he would do a different character every time. Like he would do Venom, he would do the Joker, he would do something. And people were clamoring for that. So finally they started doing their own version of that, and they turned it into the demon instead of And so I do think, isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
And I've heard nobody talk about this. This isn't something I've gotten from elsewhere. This is just me seeing her clutch to Lily, me starting to think like she could have something that is going to kind of snap her. I don't know. I don't know how we get there, but I do know she is capable of being an unbelievably good villain or face, but being a complete creep show while doing it. Ooh, another one. I'm going to give you this one. And she is somebody who has been doing the exact same thing the entire time she has been on the roster, both in NXT and on main roster. I think it's time she gets a new coat of paint. Definitely. And I do mean literally.
Oh, so, yeah. And it goes
I do think Bray Wyatt returns. I think Bray Wyatt returns at Extreme Rules. And this is complete fantasy booking on my part. The biggest excitement for me is the different directions it could go. And to see Kana do this would melt my heart. It's terrifying. And now can you understand why I would post, I love her to death and I adore, every time I see her, I think, I love you. But she's also fucking terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody's used to this. And I think Triple H could be the one who would do it's time for a drastic change. If you're super over as a babyface, you can be super over as a heel. It doesn't always translate. However, if you're super over as a heel, you can usually be super over as a babyface. She has been nothing but mega over as a babyface. What else can we do with her? And I'm sorry that this has turned into me fantasy booking one of my favorite wrestlers.
It's all right,
and
man.
Friends. When we're supposed to be talking about Bray Wyatt.
It's okay. But it all ties in, because one of the main things that makes the Fiend terrifying is how it infects the roster and everyone that the Fiend / Bray Wyatt interacts with.
I was going to say, I do want you to clarify, because I don't think the Fiend will have anything to do with Bray Wyatt. I don't.
That was one of the things that me and Sam talked about on last week's episode, was which version of Bray comes back. Is it the Fiend? Is it Bray Wyatt? And either way, one of the things... Or...
is it a new version of something?
Yeah.
Have you... This was the other thing. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. Have you seen fun concept art tweeted out for the possible White Rabbit caricature at all?
It was by the person who did the original concept art for the movie that Bray Wyatt did while he was out, and the original art for the Fiend, right?
Yes, his masks.
Yeah.
Yes. And when you do reverse image search that's never been posted. And so it wasn't even like he posted something and he's like, oh shit, that reminds me of this. This is super cool. It's his original artwork. So are we getting a Fiend-esque White Rabbit? Are we getting Bray Wyatt, or are we just getting the White Rabbit? I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know. Yeah. And that's what's so fun.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that I heard on the Wrestle Talk News was that the guy with Fee, what was his name?
I'm sorry? Rob Fee?
Rob Fee. He wanted to do a movie based on The Fiend back in 2021, and it had been greenlit, but then Bray Wyatt got released.
Yeah.
So it didn't happen. So this guy not only has had his eye on Bray Wyatt's creative for a long time, long before he got hired on, but so the idea of having the Bray Wyatt lore as a part of how it's been for a long time and how it interacts with everything else, how it could interact with Asuka, with a lot of other people. Maybe something happens with Braun, because Lord knows Braun's not fucking doing anything other than ruining the tag division again.
Right. Dude, I completely forgot about Braun.
Yeah.
That's the only acceptable spot I see him. Because I don't want him being this fucking train that derails all over the Raw. So all of that is awful. I never even thought him in the Wyatt family fit originally because he was so babyface. But I think this Strowman works very well in this realm because it keeps him away from having to be in a title picture, having to be in major feuds. Yeah. That's a great point. I didn't even think about that, even though it should be. But fuck it, I throw Asuka in there for the Wyatt family. It's like there's a Wyatt family member on the goddamn, and I just didn't even think about it.
Hell, Sam was talking about Bray Wyatt convincing Paul Heyman and maybe Edge getting involved. So I mean, there was a whole bunch of other stuff.
Is there the possibility of Rowan coming back?
Possibly. I mean, he never got that AEW graphic, so there's that always happening. If you don't get that graphic, you're not officially in. Right. And so he's available. I don't know that he would get signed back, but there's always other people that could get in.
And I don't know that he needs to be honest with you.
No, I don't.
I think he would be a wonderful addition. Once this new family is kind of getting some steam, and then he were to come back and it's like, oh shit, yes, Roman's back. But I think to just reset to hey, we're the Wyatt family again would be this isn't as much fun.
I think if you're going to do a new family, I think the idea of an all-female Wyatt family is interesting because if you have Alexa Bliss, Asuka, I don't know who else you could get in there, but you already have two females backing up the White Rabbit. That's something that hasn't been done before. If Braun doesn't even get involved, you don't walk in the same river twice. Right. And technically, Alexa Bliss would be a returning character, but she never left. Bray's the one that left. But she still has the continuance of the Lily doll. So there's an argument to be made that it's a continuance, not a return.
Right.
So there's that argument to be made. And so short answer, I think I agree. Bray's coming back. And there was also Eagle Eye viewers pointed out that in the match graphic for the Fight Pit match, there is a lantern.
Lantern, yes.
In the background, a lantern with the fireflies. So,
see, how much fun is that?
I love that.
I love that.
Even when everyone else was like, "Oh, that glove that happened in the background, that's Bray," and then it was like, "That was Dexter Lumis." But still, the fact that people are watching for these small little details, a bunch of old heads are like, "Oh, you're playing to the fucking internet smarks." Fuck it, it's fun. Fuck it.
Yeah.
fun. And it is fun. And people are having fun again.
I'm engaged. And I also saw people and they need to all these clues are just leading to, hey, watch next time. Hey, watch next time. So they need to blow this off soon. And I was like, first of all, it's been around for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Second of all, it's not leading to that 913 or that 923 led you to SmackDown to what, but that 923 also contained a bunch of other Easter eggs that could help you formulate what you think is going to happen. And that's what's so much fun about this. This isn't just so I went to the video and it told me to watch SmackDown. I watched SmackDown and it told me, something's coming. Be scared. Come with me. And it's yeah, but did you you're going to watch anyway, viewer, you're going to watch anyway. So yeah, they're going to play to the people who have been the most vocal for Bray Wyatt, and that is the internet crowd.
Yeah.
And you're getting people who are now starting, my mom's not familiar with any of this stuff. She knows about the White Rabbit stuff, but when I started showing her all the different, she started then saying, doing what I'm doing, which is so do you think he could happen if he comes back? Do you think he'll do this? And it's see how much fun you're having right now talking about this?
Yeah.
Subtleties and clues matter in wrestling. Because otherwise it's just hey, here's what's going to happen. Now watch. You watch and go, I did or didn't like that. And now you don't think about it.
Yeah. Sometimes people who are on Twitter all the time forget that not everyone is on Twitter all the fucking time.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
And they're doing enough. I think they're doing enough on WWE for there to be some subtleties to say, could it be Bray?
Yeah, a lot of people were thinking it could have been Karrion Kross because, like I said, Karrion Kross was known as the White Rabbit in Lucha Underground. Some people were saying it could have been fucking Joe Gacy, and that would be the biggest fucking letdown in the world.
I actually think Joe Gacy is going to be a part of. I think he's going to be a call up for. I don't
like him.
Is this a I don't like him personally, or I don't like him?
Oh, yeah,
anything he's done.
Fair enough. I do have an unfortunate tendency to conflate the two.
Well, no, which is fine.
I know diddly shit about him. I know diddly shit about him personally. I just think that he's watered down Bray Wyatt, and I don't think he does it convincingly enough.
Then what better way to put him in with Bray Wyatt? So rather than trying to because I agree, I enjoy him, but I'm the same way where it's what you're doing has been done and been done way better.
Mm.
So what if instead of you just trying to be that, instead of trying to be the clown, you join the circus? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like just stopping by at a McDonald's drive-thru on your way to your reservation at a steakhouse. And you're sitting down at the meal, you got your prime fucking T-bone steak and you're slicing it in, and you also got your fucking Big Mac right next to you. And it's which one are you
but those aren't the same thing anymore. Those aren't the same thing anymore. See, when he's trying to be steak on his own, but he comes across as the Big Mac, right?
Yeah.
You're not steak, you're a Big Mac, and I'll digest it when I'm really hungry, but I'd rather just have the steak.
Yeah.
But like I said, instead of just being a clown, because a clown stands out and you're not doing a very good job. We've seen clowns before. Hey, weirdo clowns, you're standing out and I don't like you on the side of the road. I don't care what you're doing, you're a fucking weirdo.
Mm-hmm.
If I see the clown at the circus, do I have the same disdain for that clown? Not at all. So he no longer would become a Big Mac at the steakhouse. He would just now be the soup you would get in the beginning of dinner, because he's now a part of the meal. He's no longer a random thing you're sticking in. He's a part of the meal. He's just not the main course. Do you know what I mean?
And
for
understand.
me, I think it's going to be, if you're going to make a new Wyatt family, you have to bring in people that others aren't as familiar with, that you can shape into being what you want them to be.
Yeah, you can bring unfamiliarity into it, but if they're good enough to not look shit next to Bray. The problem is Joe Gacy is less familiar than Bray, but I don't think he's good enough. That's the thing, is he's not only less familiar, but he's also not as good. He didn't just look bad by comparison. I don't think he was good, period. He was a Big Mac by itself and in comparison. So he doesn't just become soup at the restaurant, because soup can be good.
What don't you like about Joe Gacy?
He doesn't have, when he says spooky shit, he looks like a fucking troll in a basement somewhere, reading out a tweet he thought was clever. He looks like he should be fucking reading. He looks like he's missing his fedora instead of meaning what he's saying. He wrestles like I have been no position to judge a wrestler, but in any way. But I know, but
everyone's in position to judge a wrestler. That's
fine.
Kind of why we do it.
In terms of in ring, he's not convincing to me. When
define convincing, but do you mean like he means what he's doing? Yeah, the moves matter or what?
I'm trying to do this in a way that isn't by looking at someone else by comparison. The stuff he does doesn't service his character. He's supposed to be this manipulative kind of, I'm getting in your fucking head, but then he gets in there and he's just a roughing guy. And then the stuff he's talking about, his face he looks like he's just a douche, but also like he lives. He literally just looks like an internet troll, and he talks like he's an internet troll, and he just isn't convincing at all. I don't know. I don't buy him. I don't buy him in any way, shape, or form. In ring, out of ring, whatever. And then if you want to put him next to someone, now I'm talking about comparison. If you put him next to someone who has in interviews, out of interviews, in the ring, every move he does, I'm talking now about Bray, every move he does, everything he says, in the ring, out of ring, everywhere, online and in the real world, everything he does services whatever character he's ever done. Even back to Husky fucking Harris, he has always meant and did what he has said and done in whatever universe he's incorporating it into. If you put this unconvincing Big Mac of a fucking guy next to a master class of an artisan, you're gonna make him look like shit even more than he did by himself. I think Joe Gacy needs a fucking repackage. But that's just me. I don't think you put them together unless you want to sabotage them.
Prior to this character, then, like Joe Gacy's other characters,
I don't know anything about them.
Oh, so all you have to go off of is literally one character?
Yeah,
hear me out.
Yeah.
So he does not play the character well. So can he not be put in a different role as a different character?
Sure. And yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
On WWE TV, people would still recognize him. That's why people didn't
he can still be Joe Gacy.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to talk. Bray can do that. He can have a version of a mask like some of the other Wyatt family guys did, and all they did was come out and beat the shit out of people. Like, what's your favorite Luke Harper promo?
Luke Harper specifically?
What's your favorite Eric Rowan promo? Like, see what I mean? Like when you're like, I think, because I do like Joe Gacy. I think he's very talented.
Fair enough.
And I do think his character has just been a watered down version of like, we're going to try and rekindle what we had with Bray. And to your point, I don't think he wrestles the way his character is presented in promos and stuff like that. It's like you said, like I'm this, but his mannerisms aren't like a manipulative guy in the ring. It's like, I'm just going to get in there and beat your ass. Like, well, that's not what your character is, though.
No.
Now, I think with right direct, because keep in mind, he's also been in NXT 2.0.
Yes.
So I think with proper direction, like the guy who was running NXT originally, and the other guy who does what they were trying to do with him infinitely better, could mold him in a way. And again, we don't even know if this is, again, we don't know if Khan is coming in. We don't know if Joe Gacy, it's just all this theory. I do think there are so many people that couldn't work with Bray Wyatt that I think Joe Gacy is somebody that could work. And I think Joe Gacy would benefit greatly because no one watching WWE knows his name. He's an NXT guy and people barely know his name. That I like the idea of him coming up. And if he doesn't, I wouldn't be like, God, well, that's what I wanted. Like, if he doesn't, he doesn't. Fine. Wouldn't care at all. Bray Wyatt being back is just going to be the best thing, hopefully. I do think with Triple H, with Bray Wyatt, with Rob Fee, I think there is going to be a lot of stuff that is going to be a lot better than people think it's going to be. I think there's a lot of people who talk about Bray needing his creativity reined in, and without Vince there, who's going to do it? It's like, okay, again, Vince, like the Fiend character could have been exceptional, and it was initially. Where you go from there, I don't know, because you can't have this man beast monster who can't be defeated kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the plan was in general. But to be fair, all I have are the plans with Vince McMahon being the one directing them.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me like, hey, if you let Bray Wyatt, all you have is reports about Bray Wyatt. Hey, he's got all sorts of wacky shit. Well, yeah, those reports are released when Bray Wyatt was released. Of course, people are like, those reports are going to come out. And you don't have a reference point of what Bray Wyatt, just being Bray Wyatt's creative is.
Yeah.
You have Bray Wyatt through the filter of Vince McMahon, which, as we know, have been glimmers of amazing stuff. The whole world in his hands stuff, with the kids, like
Firefly Funhouse match.
Yeah, and somehow they always end up complete shit.
Yeah.
He does amazing stuff, and then you're like, why is he doing spooky cockroaches on the wrestling mat? This doesn't make any
Holograms
sense.
fighting Dean Ambrose.
Why is this happening? What
if and buts are coconuts, and all we have is what happened. And so hopefully we get something better. And I agree. Like I said, I hope Joe Gacy gets a repackage. Now, if that repackage comes under the guidance of people who want the best for him and obviously know better than what he was under before, aka Bray Wyatt and Triple H and Rob Fee, then cool, that's great. One, give him another name. Joe Gacy, way too close to John Wayne Gacy.
Yep. I've always disliked it.
Yeah. There's something, there's taking inspiration, and then there's hitting the nail on the needle. But yeah, that fucking name. Fun fact, I think I've said it to you before. I actually live like right next to the
that was seamless, by the way.
Yeah,
people are gonna know what we're talking about, but that was seamless.
Yeah, thank you.
Go ahead.
I live right next to the prison where John Wayne Gacy was put to death, Stateville.
Yeah,
it's within. Well, I can't say walking distance because I have fucking arthritis in my ankles, but it's within driving where I would feel stupid for driving that way distance.
Right.
It's within waste of gas distance.
Yeah. And listen, there's just those names that you hear and you're like, there's like the second I heard Joe Gacy, I was like, nah, like you can't. There's a deathmatch wrestler by the name of John Wayne Murdoch. And I get it. Like, it could be John Wayne as in John Wayne. Murdoch, like he was, like Murdoch, that made sense to me because of how his looks and everything. But the second I heard John Wayne blank, I immediately thought, nope, John Wayne Gacy. Yeah. And so in my head, I'm immediately like, I don't want this.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just those names. So
Donald Triumph. Really? Donald Triumph.
Oh God. If they were to use Joe Gacy, he cannot be a part of the group as he is. He would need to be a different character entirely. And again, if he happens to use the name Gacy, it's too like he has to be something else. He has to.
Thing is if you do incorporate him into the Wyatt family, you'd probably still use his backstory in some way later on down the line. But that's okay, because you can use him as like this is what you used to be like, and this is what I made you better kind of deal. I'm your savior of whatever the fuck. But
totally.
This is all, we're fantasy booking an entire career at this point.
Oh God, yeah.
Long story short, we think Bray is coming back, and we would cry if he doesn't. Book it, Triple H!
Real quick, do you have any prognostication or maybe even a want of how he would return? Not like production and all this stuff, but like, is there someone he goes after? Is it during a match? How does it happen?
Oh, you know what?
Let's say it does happen in the fight pit. I don't know how you would put Bray in that with already having a special ref, and
Daniel Cormier kicks Bray.
Right.
Freaking kick a man. Honestly, what I think might happen, since Edge has nothing going on, you might have Bray putting Edge away.
So is this what when you had mentioned that this could be the main event before, Ted, you already had this in mind?
No, I'm pulling this out of my ass.
I think because in my mind, like, as we talk more about it, there's no way you could, you don't do Bray during the middle of the pay-per-view.
No, what the hell follows it?
You couldn't do Bray. Well, I suppose you could do Bray with the women's ladder match with the involvement of Asuka.
Yeah.
But do we want that to overshadow? I don't know.
How about you?
I don't want my heart's not set on anything. I've left this up to,
we will abide. We'll follow the dude and we will abide.
I do want to say, because I continue to stare. You're all like, the screens still have part here, and then I still have the chat up. So the last picture of Kana in her mask, and I just imagine her spitting red mist and stuff, like with that,
or like black mist, like Alexa had at WrestleMania.
Like, I do want that. So my heart is set on that, but I'll enjoy the ride to get there. And if it never comes, I'll always have this. Yeah. I do think Extreme Rules is going to be match for match a very, very good show. I think there's some sleepers on there. I don't think the Drew match is going to be entertaining whatsoever. I do have even the ones that I'm not terribly looking to, like the Ronda, and I'm excited to see how they get out of the situation, like what they book going forward. Yeah. Triple H has always been fairly good at setting up for the future rather than this is what happened tonight. But it's like, this is what happened tonight and this is how it's going to affect such and such. So
yeah, we'll see how it is. It looks like it's going to be a pretty good show, but you know what else is going to be a pretty good show? They're here on October 8th featuring Mikey Wild alongside AEW Tag Champion Max Caster and legend Tugboat fucking Shockmaster.
Or my favorite incarnation of is Typhoon as the natural disasters with Earthquake.
Yes, Typhoon. Damn. They're going to be at the Brat Stop. Did I say it?
We are about stopping to Kenosha, Wisconsin. It's a very easy get too, because you go The highway's 94 if you're coming south out of Chicago area, and it's right off the highway. You get right off the highway, and it's right there. It's a very accessible, very easy.
Yeah. I hate driving on the highway, but I'm driving on the highway just for this. Just for this.
I greatly appreciate it. I think with the way the card is set up, I think you're going to enjoy yourself quite a bit. Jordan Cross will be taking on his cousin. God damn.
Yeah. Family feud match.
Salem Crane. I was just about to say his like shoot first name and like Matt Crane. That's not it. Salem Crane. Both of those are super great dudes. A lot of fun to watch. It's Sky Blue is wrestling with her uncle Doug, Doug Simmons, who I absolutely adore. And we are so excited to link up again. Who will probably be my personal trainer coming out of this.
Nice.
And they're going to take on Shelly Benson and Dave Rydell. God damn, do I love Dave Rydell so much. Another guy, like, the SSW card is full of people who I can text on a regular basis, or I could text once a year. And each time it's like, it still feels like you've been hanging out the whole time and like, hey, let's meet up and grab lunch kind of thing.
That's awesome.
So, and not just to that point people, but performers who, as you know, like Ryan Cross puts on a certain amount of shows per year. And as like I said, as the pre-sales are right now, it looks like we're going to be over 550. He's not going to trot out like guys who are just going to work for, $20. That way he can get a match out of them. Look, it's going to be quality, and hopefully you enjoy the whole show. I'm excited. I do believe my oldest sister and her husband are driving up. My mom will certainly be there. I don't know. I don't think my nephews will be, which is okay because it gives my mom a break. But there's a lot of people coming up who would otherwise probably not even go to a wrestling show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so my hope is that just watching me, maybe something else catches them. They get entertained, they get excited. Maybe they don't constantly want to go to wrestling shows, but maybe they follow something a little bit more online, like what we do with the Sami Zayn or Bray Wyatt stuff. To it's like, hey, we're not really watching, but then I show my friend the Sami Zayn stuff. Yeah. And she's like, oh my God, this guy's awesome. Never seen him wrestle before in her life, but he's hilarious and she's awesome and she roots for him. Doesn't like wrestling. So I hope that comes out of it. I hope I can bump my ass up. I hope I don't take any bumps during the match that preclude me from finishing the match.
I'll be watching, goddammit.
Which is entirely possible. But I'm very much looking forward to it. And I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day to spend the energy to come up and watch me. That means a great deal.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. I'm getting an exclamation point now on my battery that tells me,
oh, we gotta go. Yeah. All right, time for the speed outro. Thank you all very much for watching.
I talk too much. You can do it.
You talk too much.
I do. I'm so sorry, guys.
No, I was making a Botchamania reference. You don't talk too much. It's
been great. Don't worry. I know that y'all talk too much reference for Botchamania. Don't you worry.
Very much for watching this episode of the Kick Out at One podcast. I'm going to talk. Make sure to get this done. Follow the social medias. Come to the show. Links in the description down below.
And I have been the American Nightmare. I have been Forever Lost. I have been Heckin'. I have been a lot of things. And after Saturday, I am just Mikey Wild. Thank you, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I kick out at one. Hook of the leg and a kick out at one. A kick out at one. Kick out at one. Hooks the leg and a kick out at one. Kicked out.